Hey, what's going on, guys? I want to talk to you today about Pea Shoot Microgreens. Yes, Pea Shoot Microgreens. These are awesome. Today we're going to learn how to grow them with no soil alternatives, no nutrients, and we're going to see how we're going to do that and what we can do with pea shoots or pea microgreens. First, why do you want to grow them? Pea microgreens are great for when you're first starting. They're great all the time, but particularly when you're first starting because they are so hardy. You could actually just not water these for a day. You're supposed to normally water them 3 times a day. Come back the next day after not watering them, be like, hey, no problem, just keep going. They're very hardy. They're going to endure a lot. If you've messed up before on microgreens and haven't done something right, pea shoots might be a good place to go to because they're going to be very forgiving for any mistakes. They're very hardy. They're very nutritious, for one. As you know, most microgreens are like 30–40%. I think peas are like 40 times the amount of nutrition. Like if you have 1 cup of pea shoot microgreens, you get the same nutrition as 40 cups of peas. So I think that's where those are at. Something in that ballpark anyways. So highly nutritious. They have a great texture. So especially like when you're, for instance, frying them up in a side or even in a soup, the leaves are going to melt down and kind of be like a spinach texture, but the shoots are going to stay hard. So you're going to have a nice contrast there between the crispness of the shoot and the softness of the leaves. So they're really good for that. They have kind of, when you cook them, they're kind of like a spinach. They're really good that way. And then the other thing is just the sheer volume. Oh, and they're so inexpensive. You can buy whole dry peas for like $1 a pound, which is just unheard of because people are paying tons for microgreens. We'll talk about that. But the other thing is just the volume. Look how tall these are. If you've noticed, like my radish microgreens, they're like half this size. So there's just so much volume. And if you're going to cook them, you might even take these another day and take them up to about this size here. So for those reasons, they're highly nutritious. There's tons of volumes. They're very durable, very forgiving of any mistakes when you're growing them, and yeah, and super cheap. So let's start with that. So a lot of people, I get some of my stuff on Amazon, and that's great, but don't go there for don't go there for your mung beans, and don't go there for your pea shoots. I think the very first batch of peas I bought whole dried peas for microgreens, and they were like $14 a pound or something like that. And then I went to, if you go to the international market or farmers market or probably any Asian market, you can probably find them. I get these at the international market. I guess this is Roshini, I guess is how you probably say it, but there's other brands there too. I've seen different brands, it's not about the brand. But yeah, so you just need whole peas. As long as they're whole peas and they're not split, then they'll sprout, okay? And I've done yellow peas, I've done green peas, I've done, I think they're called cow peas or something, brown, they're brown. But anyways, green peas are what we have here, that's what these are. And yeah, these were $3.80, $3.90 for 4 pounds. So less than $1 a pound. And you're not using a pound when you do it, you're using just a couple ounces. So it's awesome. So get them out of like an Asian market or international market or farmer's market, something along those lines. And you'll pay probably less than $1 a pound for them, or right at $1 a pound, which is awesome. So you generally you're going to take your dried pea, you're going to soak it, you're going to pre-soak it the same way you do almost every microgreen. So what we do, I'm just kind of demonstrating. So I usually use a mason jar, and for these, for peas, I normally use about a half a cup. Start with a half cup and then adjust it as you see whatever your tray level is. So I'll put a half a cup of peas in the mason jar in warm water. I'll fill this all the way up and they'll swell. Usually for peas usually take about 12 hours. Okay, so you're looking at 12 hours of soak time for your peas. So start them the night before you want to actually put them on the tray, and then the next morning put them on the tray. So what we're going to use are these trays here. We've talked about it in almost every one of our videos. I use these for all my microgreens. I use these for all my seed starting. I use these for my high intensity lettuce. I use them all the time. I bought them on Amazon. You can buy like a 10 pack for like $22. Most recently, I bought a 16 pack for $24, which means they were $1.50 each. So definitely, way to go. There's DIY options as well, as I always say. We'll get to that. But generally, if you can get a bulk, just get them in bulk because you can do so much with them. All right, so peas. So we take our peas, we soak them for 12 hours in our glass jar, any type of jar. And then after 12 hours, you pour them out on your tray, okay? You want to pour them so that you want your tray to be just one even level. If you've got too many peas and they're overlapping, take some off, toss them aside. If you don't have enough, that's not so much of a problem. You'd rather be a little bit under than a little bit over, because a little bit over is going to affect the way they grow. If you got too many on top of each other, they're not going to germinate as well. They're not going to grow as full. It's just not a way to go. So ideally, you would have just a perfectly one flat layer. Then you're gonna, after you wet them, you spray them, you're gonna take your weight and you're gonna put your weight on them. And you're gonna leave them just like that. You're gonna nest this weight. The purpose of the weight, like I say in all my videos, is to get the roots to go downward. If they're just sitting on a tray with no medium, the roots are gonna go in all different directions and push them in different directions. The seeds will be popping everywhere. Put the weight on them and the roots will go down, because eventually you wanna bottom water into the bottom tray. So you're gonna put this on here, and then you're gonna cover it with I cover mine with a box. You could stick it in a cupboard, you could cover it with a cloth or something like that, but you want them in the dark. For 3 days, you're gonna water it 3 times a day for 3 days. So you just lift this up, you take your water bottle, right? Give it a good pump, and then you're just gonna kind of spray them around. Actually, if I'm simulating correctly, my white tray came up, so the pea seeds would normally be here. And then take your water bottle, give it a good pump, and just kind of go back and forth. Give it a good amount of water. What I see sometimes, problems that some of the people that I work with personally are having is they're not giving it enough water. They'll pull the trigger a few times on one of the squirt ones, but you really want to get those things nice and wet. So, yeah, so you do that, and then 3 times a day you do that. I do it in the morning when I get up, when I come home from work, and then at night before I go to bed. So you do that for 3 days, and then on the 4th day, and then you have it in the dark that time. On the 4th day, you take the weight off, and you let it still be in the dark for 1 more day. Okay, that's going to make it reach. When the plants are in the dark, they won't turn green yet. They'll be yellow or clear, and then they'll be reaching for the light. So day 4, it stays in the dark. You still water it 3 times a day for the duration, but day 4, it stays in the dark. Day 5, you take it out of the dark, and you put it either next to a light window, like a south-facing window, or you put it underneath some sort of light. I have a LED shop light that I put underneath in my grow room, but you could use just a regular lamp or anything. You just set it under that, and then you're still going to water it 3 times a day. You still spritz it, but you can bottom water it now too. Put water in the bottom so that the roots are down in there, and they'll suck up whatever water they need. They can just suck it right up. So so it comes out of the light after day 4. So these go to day 9 to 12. So day 4 to day 9, they're out of the light. You're spritzing them 3 times a day, but still keep water in the bottom so that they get plenty of water. And and then after, when you get to like day 9, they're about this tall. This is day 9. Okay. If I was going to cook these, now these do reduce down quite a bit. So if I was going to cook them, I might go day 10, day 11, something like that, and they'll be like this tall for more volume. But the taller they get, the woodier they get. So the younger they are, the smaller, the lower they are, the more tender they are. The shoots won't be quite as hard. As you get day 10, day 11, that kind of thing, I wouldn't go past day 11. They'll be about like this. Yeah, there's a ton of volume there, but the shoots are going to be kind of woody. It won't matter if you're cooking them, because it's all going to reduce down. But if you're eating them raw, you want to get them around day 9. If you know you're going to cook that whole tray down, then you can go day 10, day 11, that kind of thing. But yeah, so they look like this. And so then to harvest them, we'll do that real quick. And I'll just use, I didn't prepare real well. Hold fast. I'll be right back. Okay, we are back and we are ready to harvest. So what you want to do is these, real simple, you're just going to cut them right here along the base, or you can pull them up and cut them afterwards. I like to cut them, for peas, I like to cut them when they're in the base, and you just cut high enough so that there's no roots or anything coming up. And you're just going to go through just like that. All the bad stuff's going to stay on the bottom, and you're just leaving a little bit of gap. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just cutting and just taking them. We might keep you here for the whole tray on these, because these go pretty quick. Now these will grow back. Some people are like, can they grow back? Yeah, they grow back, but it's not, the second round is never as full, and it's never as high quality. As long as you're not in dire straits, I wouldn't try and go a second harvest. You can, but I would just go with the first harvest. There's plenty of food here. Just take one harvest across. All this, people that do that sort of thing, they put it in compost, or they feed it to chickens, or that kind of thing. That's not really my thing. I'm not homesteading here, so This will just be thrown in the trash. But yeah, so that's a plate, but you can tell you're going to get a ton of pea shoots here. Okay, and yeah, those are great. So if I do put them in salads or soups or things, I do tend to chop them up quite a bit, because you don't want to be eating a salad and have, you know, pea shoot coming out your nose or something like that. That's quite a bit in your mouth. It's just sticking in weird places. So I'll chop them down, you know, to dice them up, or at least cut them in half, if not fourths, that kind of thing. They just make it a lot easier to eat so that things aren't sticking out everywhere. Just a little pro tip on the eating there. But yeah. What else about peas? They're super cheap, they're super durable, they're easy, they're a great microgreen to learn, especially in the beginning. And yeah, and they taste good. So they've got a nice green taste, like a sweet pea, right? They've got a good green flavor without that kind of green stuff that sometimes when you eat some of the microgreens, it's like you kind of have to hold your nose because they're so green. Some of you guys that are doing the juice stuff, you know what I'm talking about. But these aren't like that. These have a nice, pleasant kind of green taste. So for me, they're one of the fundamental four. For me, my fundamental four on the microgreens are mung beans, radishes, pea shoots, and broccoli sprouts. And so you kind of cover all your bases with that. The spiciness, the texture, the fiber and the protein with the mung bean, the spiciness with the radish, the green with the peas, and then the ultra nutrition with the broccoli sprouts. So yeah, so I think that those make it just a nice, when I do like a superfood salad, or I do what I call super soba Sunday, and I make this wonderful soba thing with sprouts and lettuces and stuff. Those are the four main microgreens that I use. So I'll probably make a video of that coming down the road or whatever. Add some proteins and like that kind of thing, and even in salads, yeah, add some proteins and croutons. There'll be a super salad coming, superfood salad video probably, and there'll probably be a super soba Sunday video coming. One of these Sundays I'll film making that as well. But yeah, but that's pea shoots. You should be jumping on this microgreen bandwagon. It's usually super cheap, it's easy, it's fun, and super nutritious. It's a good time, so get on board. Hopefully we'll see you. If you're doing this and you're making some microgreens or whatever, leave some pictures, leave some comments down below. Let me know how you're eating them. Let us all know. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Take care. Have a good one.